Yesterday, my client woke up really early for her usual morning jog, and as she was pouring her freshly brewed coffee from her own coffee company, she thought, this coffee is really good. Maybe I should have more merch. Yeah, I want to have more merch in my store. Christmas is around the corner, and I want to have something that you are able to put underneath a Christmas tree that is not just coffee, you know? Yeah, that seems right. That's when she pulled her phone and made a call.
Hello? Who is this? Oh, hey. Merch? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do all that. Can I call you later? It's like 3 in the morning here. Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, love you too. Okay, bye. People should be more aware of time zones.
Okay, that never happened. Emma Chamberlain is, in fact, not my client because she doesn't have my number, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason.
I thought that would be funny because I was trying to make a joke about time zones and the whole I love you thing, Emma Chamberlain and Jack Harlow red carpet situation, until I realized that I am in fact ahead of her. So running for her would be afternoon for me, so I wouldn't be sleeping. Anyways, I promise that I will put more effort into my comedy on the next videos. Also, we reached 1,000 subscribers here, so thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of this video.
Still, I have decided to design some merch for her coffee company, Chamberlain Coffee, because I like their brand and I like the brand strategy and I like their visuals and I like Emma, and honestly, I just think it will be a fun, cute little project. So hi, I'm Duda, a graphic designer who likes to talk about graphic design and pop culture and merch design. Welcome to my channel. Before we start, I did a little brand research just so we can design something that will kind of correlate to the brand and not just something random, even though it's a fake line, so I can do whatever I want. There is no revisions to this besides this boss right here. I'm the boss. Let's talk about the packaging. The packaging features vibrant colors, cartoonish designs, and relatable language. Relatable. That's the word. It's very relatable. See, it's not a luxury brand. This is not a luxury brand. I know that I, a normal citizen of the world, can afford to go out and buy Chamberlain coffee. I can afford to purchase a pack of Chamberlain coffee, you know. The cartoonish illustrations in the packaging are super playful and adorable, and I love them. So we know the brand got this sort of naive feeling, a little bit kidcore. Love it. Love the packaging. Now let's move on to the audience. The brand feels very, very Instagrammable. I mean, it only makes sense. It's Emma Chamberlain. And it aligns with the preference of social media savvy consumers. We know for sure that it's for a young audience. It's for a younger audience. Our elders are not drinking Chamberlain coffee. They are drinking Lavazza. They are having Illy. They're buying Nescafe. My elders in question are probably having Pilão or Santa Clara because they're Brazilian. Anyways, now we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the presence of Emma in the brand. The brand capitalizes on Emma's status as an it girl, a fashion icon, a trendsetter, drawing on her strong connection with the loyal fan base. Campaigns definitely reflects her style with high quality conceptual photo shoots. I mean, the art direction for Chamberlain Coffee is hot shit. It is so good. I mean, hashtag inspo. Look at this. Baby, this is good. This is high quality. She is serving, and it's not just coffee. Lastly, this is sort of a conclusion, but the duality of Chamberlain Coffee. It's fun, it's vibrant, yet undeniably polished. So what can I create based on this information? The merch drop, my team and I, which is just me, conceptualized, celebrates the playful spirit of the brand. The focus would definitely be on the naiveness the brand has. Like, I want it to be kind of kidcore, but while maintaining this Instagram-worthy aesthetic. The designs are going to feature hand-drawn illustrations made by moi. And for the color palette, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes it's about being inspired, living the moment. I'm gonna be there, like illustrating, concentrated, focusing on making art, and I'm just gonna see what my heart tells me. You don't have to be so methodic, okay? Just chill. You're probably gonna make your best designs when you're chilled. I just know that I want the illustrations to be colorful. The merch will include an oversized tee, a hoodie, a tote bag for sure. I cannot design merch that will not include a tote bag. It's on my contract. And a cap? Actually, no, I don't like caps. A bucket hat. They're cuter. I think they're more like Emma's vibe. Bucket hats are so 2016. Okay, it's time for them to make a comeback. Bucket hats are in again. For this, I decided to sketch some concepts for layouts. Check out these beautiful, beautiful sketches. Oh my god, what is this? This is like Illustrator, but with a piece of paper and a pencil. Do you guys know what that is? A pencil? I picked up an actual pencil for the first time in like 2 years. Right? Anyways, as I said, I will and I want to create some cute illustrations for the designs, but I didn't sketch them here. Honestly, I sketched the illustration directly on my iPad, but I did thought about some layouts so the design process will be easier and smoother, and I would kind of know what to do with the illustrations. So I have some layout ideas, I have some text ideas, which are very cheesy, by the way, but I don't know if I like them. Like sip happens. Okay. I ended up basing the designs off of these, but they're not like 100% exactly like the sketches and the ideas I had originally, because that's what design is. When you're doing like pottery or ceramics and then you're like molding a vase and you like the shape, but there's like some details that you think it's weird, so you want to adjust the vase without messing up with the shape. So maybe, the top is too thick, maybe the bottom is too thin. You mold and you shape your design as it goes. That's what I did with the layouts, basically. Like, I like the shape, just had to tweak some details. And I don't do this for all of my designs, but sometimes knowing kind of where you want the elements to go before designing, especially for a project like that involves illustrations, is important. Not really important. You can make great designs without sketching, but sometimes it's helpful. All right, I had a vision, I had sketches, I had a brand research. I guess time to start designing. Now, let's design. Obviously, I started with the illustrations because there's no way I can design anything without having any of the illustrations done. The thing is, let me hold your hand when I tell you this. Procreate did me really dirty, and it didn't record the full illustration process. And I don't know what to tell you. Well, at least it did record the full lettering process. So I usually start by drawing the lettering either on Procreate or a piece of paper, and I finish it off by vectorizing on Illustrator. For this, I actually had the initial idea to leave it like this because the brush's texture is really cool, but I did end up refining it on Illustrator. Something you need to take into consideration when you're working on lettering is that you need to fill in your sketch. So for example, if you're sketching something on paper or on your iPad, do yourself a favor and fill in the sketch before you move on to the final thing, because that's going to help you with visualization and you'll be able to catch any weird spots beforehand. Well, unless your lettering is literally, the outlines, then I guess you're fine. Also, please ignore this ugly green I used here for some reason. This was by far the most time-consuming part, because illustration, it's not really part of my work style, but sometimes, I feel audacious enough that I want to incorporate some illustration to my designs. Oh, and 99% of the time, they're either doodles or cartoons or individual elements with no backgrounds, because that's all I know how to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are not bad. I do have like a certain level of skill that I can make them look cool, in my opinion, but it's just not part of my regular design style. So I am always a bit self-conscious about it, and the amount of time that I have to go back and forth for revisions with myself because this is not a real client. It's like borderline embarrassing. Anyways, Procreate hates me, so here's a comparison of the sketch and the final illustration. In initial sketch, final illustration. I was definitely not happy with the legs here. I was like, you know what? This is so ugly. So I erased the whole bottom part and I started again. Peep the little Chamberlain coffee cup she's holding. Love her. Love her now. She definitely had a glow up. The heart is the most insane of them all because this is what I started with and this is the final thing. This is crazy. I absolutely love this little heart. It's cute and I love the colors. Love it. Okay, this one she is like the less drastic of them all because it was the last one. So I had previously drawn the other two. So I kind of already know what to do, you know? But she's very cutesy. Love her. So off to Illustrator we go. Illustrator started by pissing me off. Do you guys see this? Do you guys see this shit? All I wanted to do is crop this image and it's like glitching and acting dumb and I actually had to restart it to be able to crop it. Well, since I looked at some references and I kind of already had in mind that I wanted to like mix this very playful illustrations with some more polished but also like retro chunky serif font, like very groovy vibes, I went straight to the serif font section. Tested a few, but one caught my eye like immediately. It was Book Mania. And can I say that I am obsessed with this font now? Look at those glyphs. They are so pretty. This is so cool. And I love it. Totally obsessed. So I set up the text and I decided to add a little checkered pattern below, which by the way, this is an element that I will use in common for the other designs. Then I decided to create a little word mark for Chamberlain copy, also using Book Mania. I could have, and it would honestly be more common and probably requested if this was a real client, I could have used the real logo. But I honestly thought, let's pretend that this is like a limited edition thing, you know? Why not? Let's pretend we want to do something fun and different with the logo. It's in the brief. I personally really like the logo, like the original logo. I used it on the cups and the mugs in the illustrations, but I mean, that's just a detail. And I honestly just wanted to be able to match the title to the logo. Like, that's it. That's my thought process behind it. If you need to add the logo to a merch design you're doing, you'll probably not be allowed to change it and you probably have to, you know, use the original logo. And I know that. I am just stating this before someone comments on it like,
that's so unrealistic. You shouldn't change the logo.
I know. We're having fun here, okay, Paul? We're having a good time. I'm also going to add a series of small phrases inside these pointy shapes. I just don't know what yet, okay? I'll figure out later. To the next design. Guys, all of the designs are going to basically have the same structure. That's why I'll say it again. The illustrations were way more time consuming than the design itself. I really wanted the merch to be like similar items, you know, to feel like it's part of a series of merch. So the lettering, it's kind of like the only one that differs in style a little bit, but it still feels like it's part of the merch drop, you know? So I was there designing, everything was fine, and I suddenly felt weird about the decorations, like these extra decorations in the illustration and the phrases. I admit that espresso yourself, it's not the most creative phrase about coffee. It is in fact really cheesy. I don't like it. So I went back to Procreate one more time to delete those and it just felt better for sure. It felt right. I did decide to keep the little hearts though. Now it's time for the lettering. So here I am going to be exposing a little bit of my lettering process. So I simply click image trace, then I have to expand the object and it is now vectorized and ready to be adjusted and refined. So I take the smooth tool and I smooth out everything. Smooth out and just with the smooth tool. And that's what I do for all of my lettering basically. I'm not a lettering beginner, you know, I've used lettering before for some of my projects and I love lettering, really. So I was like, maybe I'm going to do something different here. But I ended up opting for my usual process, you know, just the usual. There is one design though, that it's the orange blood design I did, and the lettering is so special to me because it's so
rough and grungy, and it has a lot of character and texture. I love that. It's special, and it worked very well for the design. Okay, so back to our lettering. I wasn't happy with it still, so I grabbed the pen tool and tweaked some things. Sorry about this weird window format, by the way. I was on my iPad, that's why it looks like this. But this is my lettering process. Sometimes I take a step further and I apply some 3D effect or whatever I'm feeling for the design. Chrome maybe, but for here I just wanted a plain flat lettering, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I was really thinking about this design because I doodled this little cup of coffee to pair it with the lettering, but then I was like, it doesn't really look like the rest of the designs. But in a way that's good actually, because it reaches a wider demographic. I like the thought of having one different merch, you know, and this one is more aggressive and mature for sure. Okay, for the last design, it's the same thing. Sorry, it's literally the same, but different illustrations, so there's not much to say here.
Okay, our designs are ready, so now it's time to present those to our client, Emma Chamberlain. So we're going to quickly put together a presentation for the merch. Honestly, I would use something really similar to a brand presentation, but for merch. I don't want to spend more time on the presentation than I did on the design in this video. So I'm going to quickly grab a brand presentation template on Kiddo, and I'm going to customize it for my client, Emma. If you're doing that, make sure you are customizing it for your client. Everything that you're going to show your client, you want to make sure that they feel like you're thinking about their brand 24/7. Selling your designs is like a big part of being a graphic designer, which I kind of love because I'm charismatic and I can take feedback very well. Except if you're talking about the amount of textures I use. Then you're wrong. And I'm right. Okay, I think this template, it's really cute, and I can definitely do something from this. It's like a bakery brand, but I will customize it and I'll make it look like my merch. So let's do this. Merch presentation ready, so let's go through it. I'm not going to be presenting this as if you were a client, by the way, because I think that would be a little bit weird and I didn't prep anything. This is just me talking to you, my dear viewer. So I chose to make the background and the slides black so we can focus on the design. I do this for brand presentations typically too, and this is like a little bit personal, but not really. But when we're talking about colors, I personally like to use something more neutral. So I usually use black and white or off-white colors. Also, I don't want to be spoiling my color decisions. Come on, that's like a fun part of the presentation. Anyways, as you see, we start with a little overview here, which is literally the same I already said in this video like 1,000 times. That whole thing about the merch concept being playful but polished and how this relates to the brand, to Emma, blah blah blah. I don't want to be repetitive, but this is already kind of repetitive. Now to the t-shirts. Not sure if you all noticed, but yes, I decided to change the color scheme for the designs. Honestly, I was happy enough with the color pop, the whole colorful thing, being exclusively in the illustrations. So I thought it was more coherent to focus on the cream and brown colors for the rest of the design, which I think it was a great decision. I mean, visually, it's easier on the eyes. The t-shirts definitely also got a vintage retro charm to them, as well as the tote bag. I think the hoodie is like a way more streetwear vibe, but we're going to talk about that in a second. But, you know, I loved pairing this retro feeling with the illustrations. I think this worked very well. Now, the hoodie and the bucket hat is a more streetwear or mature alternative to the illustrations, let's put it this way. I chose to treat it almost like as it's, you know, a strand of the merch drop. It got similar elements, kind of like similar vibes, but it's a different
feeling it evokes, for sure. I love this lettering, and it was just impossible to pair the lettering with the illustrations like the one I created for this project. The lettering itself, it's already attention grabbing enough. So instead of scratching the lettering, I changed the illustration style to this. Lastly, the tote bag. I love the tote bag because it looks so good for a tote bag. You know what I mean? And I love how we got a different darker background. I actually want this tote bag. I need to have this tote bag so bad. I think the other designs, you know, the t-shirt designs will also look so good as a tote bag. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, but artists don't tend to create a bunch of different merch products with the same designs. I don't know if I'm making sense or I'm talking shit, but I don't see a lot of artists selling tote bags, t-shirts, and hoodies with the same design. Like they sell multiple shirts, for example, with multiple designs, but not the same design in multiple products, you know? I don't know. And finally, thank you for your time. And this was my little fake Chamberlain coffee merch design. I loved doing this because it's not what I usually do. I think the characters turned out adorable. I think the designs turned out adorable. I recently designed some cartoon mascots for a client, like retro cartoon mascots, but that's a different style, and it involved, you know, sketching and then drawing and then vectorizing it and refining. So it's also a different process. But this was so nice because, you know, I drew the illustrations and I got to use them the way they are without like refining, without vectorizing, without making it smoother and clearer. And I think, you know, I like to have a little bit of texture in my designs. That's not news here. If you've been watching my videos, you probably already know that. But anyways, it felt more organic. It felt more handmade for sure, even though, you know, I used a polished typography. I try to make the design more polished. The illustrations felt very naive, and I love that. The thing with illustrations for me is that I tend to like hyper focus on the details too much. So by the end of the day, I basically hate them all, and I have to give my eyes a little rest and go back to them like the next day, and then I would redo the things I find it strange until there's like one day that I wake up and I look at the designs and I look at the illustrations and I go like, okay, you know what? I like them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. I genuinely had a great time doing all of this. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you can pay me a coffee. Maybe a Chamberlain coffee, who knows? This is actually a prop. I would never drink coffee right now. It's like 6:06 like PM, and I hate iced coffee. But that's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like the vibe now. I feel so out of place because I don't like iced coffee. You know, whatever. Yeah, goodbye. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.